Hello, all my friends at Cageside Seats, as well as YouTube. This is Live After SmackDown Live. I am Tonya Rodgers here with Andrew M. Swift, and sadly, we have a bit of sad news. This will be, in fact, the very last Live After SmackDown Live, but for a good reason. Andrew and I are still going to do the show, but we have decided we're going to change the name to Wednesday Night Shooting because we're not actually after SmackDown Live anymore. And that's mainly because there's a show coming on the network called 205 Live on November 29th. And they're going to cut in our time. And, we also want to watch that and still see Talking Smack. So it was just too much time, so we just decided, let's just do it to Wednesday after NXT. We'll change the name. But the title of this episode is called Screw the Election. And I just want people to know, I'm going to make it clear, I am not a registered Democrat nor a Republican. I did not like either candidate. I did vote for one, but I didn't like either one. So Andrew and I, we're looking into 4 years to see who we would like to run and who we would vote for. Now, I do not agree with this man completely and totally, but if we're going to have a maniac in the White House, I want a maniac that I can trust. So Kanye West, 2012, let's do it. I am all for him as the Democrat nominee against Donald Trump. That would be like, you think this election was kind of sad and gross and depressing? That election will be lit as fuck. Mark my words.
Oh boy, yeah. Kanye's a good shout, and you know what? It's so funny that he's been talking about it for like a decent minute now too. So like, if he starts like making stops, like random stops in Iowa and New Hampshire, like next year, it's gonna kill me every time. I'm just gonna start laughing my ass off. The Des Moines Register covering Kanye.
He needs to put a committee out there and see what his options are.
He's got to launch an exploratory committee. I mean, this is Washington, so you got to trust the process and all that jazz. So, yeah, you're talking up Kanye, and I'm saying we need a man who knows the values of hustle, loyalty, and respect. I'm saying John Cena 2020, baby. John Cena 2020. All his like talk show appearances and hosting the ESPYs and Kids' Choice Awards or whatever the hell else he's hosted. He's just preparing himself, getting some public, notoriety, getting his face out there so that people know of him as more than just a wrestler. He's a polished man, a good speaker. He's engaging and witty. And he's got a wonderful life partner, and
he needs to, like, if he
she's gonna be the best surrogate ever, if
he's gonna run.
Queen Nikki Bella, First Lady of the United States.
First Lady Nikki Bella. Oh, I'm so on today.
Right?
I am. Like the outfit she's gonna wear. Oh my goodness.
Fuck Kanye, First Lady Nikki Bella. Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna have Nikki run. Screw. Will she be old enough? I don't think she'll be old enough, actually. Unfortunately.
She might be. I think she.
Oh wait, she might be. I think she's like 31 or something. She'll be old enough. Okay.
She might be. But Nikki Bella is a better choice as a first lady than Kim Kardashian ever will be.
Well, that's.
You've sold me.
I think Carmella's a better choice as a first spouse, first lady than Kim Kardashian. Oh.
Okay. Let's get on, because the two of us, we've been gone for a minute.
Yeah, I've been gone.
Now we're back at it. Let's talk about Hell in a Cell, and let's just run down all of our thoughts and opinions.
Oh boy.
And the main thing I'm going to talk about is the triple main events and the things that I noticed during the match. The first match, I'm Roman is supposed to be the golden boy, somebody ought to tell that to the people who have been booking him lately. Because I don't see nothing golden. It's barely silver. His match, and I liked it. I thought it was brutal. I don't get the argument about him wearing his vest and the chain because, like, I know people who've actually worn bulletproof vests and have gotten shot wearing it. It still fucking hurts.
It still hurts,
Leaves a bruise, and people can actually, if it hits you in the chest, you can actually go into cardiac arrest with the vest and still die, even though you weren't shot. So, like, people who were like, oh, I would have believed it. He got hit with the chain if he didn't have the vest on. So you wanted Rusev to hit Roman Reigns with a steel chain, a real steel chain that I'm guessing really hurt. Okay, cool. So, like, I don't get it. Like, the vest, I really don't get why the vest bothers so many people. That is not what he wore in the Shield. Are these new people who did not watch the Shield? That was not his gear in the Shield at all. The vest he has on. I have a problem with his entrance music and his gimmick, but I don't have a problem with his gear. I don't. I like his vest. If he wants to wear his vest, let the man wear his vest.
You know what I think about Roman Reigns these days is that I really wish he had Baron Corbin's gimmick.
Yes, that is true.
That would be so perfect.
I think he would do much better at Baron Corbin's gimmick.
Because Roman's fucking awesome and Baron Corbin's great. But Roman Reigns is top talent.
And Roman has actually lived this like all his life.
Right. Yeah.
Athlete, a top athlete. He was like the team captain his senior year in football. Well, I don't know all of Baron's accomplishments in football, so he could be the same way, but I think it's a better fit on Roman. But the match, to me, you're doing a Hell in a Cell, and you do it that way. It was not booked for it to get over. I don't think. There were no high spots. I thought it was entertaining, but there were no high spots. There was nothing to really pop the crowd. And they had to go in there and work with that, as opposed to the Universal that was booked within inches of his life. Just the most crazy spots. So we get tables and we get a run-in and we get this and we get that and we get Seth Rollins looking like a world beater, beating up two guys at once for most of the time Jericho was interfering. And then you have the thing about Kevin Owens, who gets weaker by the week. I don't even, is it because Jericho is so outlandish in promos that I barely remember anything Kevin Owens says when they're out there together? I barely remember what Kevin Owens has to say. It's all about Jericho when they're together. And it's just, it increasingly pisses me off. Like, seriously.
Yeah, Kevin Owens at this point is like, it's so funny to think about like a year and a half ago, and it was like, holy shit, Kevin Owens confronting John Cena, and then he beats him clean in his first match. It's like, he's shooting him right to the top, you know? Like, let's do it. Why not? Guy can talk, you know, his matches are a little indie-rific, but they can get over. All of his matches with Sami, he's always got over on the main roster big. His matches with Cena got over big. So yeah, but then now he's champion. Like, if you would have told us like a year and a half later or whatever, 14 months later, that he'd be champion, and like, I didn't want to see him on I had no interest in seeing on my TV. Like, it's not that I like am like go away like Jericho, who I can't stand. It's just like, oh, Kevin Owens is here. Cool. You know, like there's nothing, I don't know, there's nothing there. Kevin Owens is wearing a damn suit. Like, I hate that so much. Wearing that stupid suit.
the thing about it is Kevin Owens is in a spot that any Jamoke could be playing, and he's better than
anybody. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He can do a lot more. For sure, he could do a lot more with that Jamoke spot character too. Like they could have had him do a whole thing about why he's doing it for his family and all that stuff. But they just dropped all of it. All of it.
There's no
nothing,
dominance.
There's nothing to it.
He's gotten the belt, and it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go along with everything because I have this belt that everybody says matters, but you're not showing how it matters. And that's the frustrating part. He's a heel. I don't need him to beat everybody up dominantly. Right. We're going to get on that. We're going to get on that in a minute. I don't need him. I don't need that.
Oh boy. Oh no.
I just want him to be his own man like he was when I first saw him, and he's not.
Yeah.
And like, it's irritating. But you know what? Who I have enjoyed these last 2 weeks? Seth Rollins, which is a shock.
Take.
I have. I think he's doing pretty well in his spot. I don't know why. Sparkle pants just got me all kinds of giggles. And I'm like,
Sparkle crotch?
Sparkle crotch, yes. That got me all kinds of giggles when it came up. And I was just like, what? It's so ridiculous. But I'm kind of digging it. I just need him to like stop being a dick. Just a little bit more, you know.
Be a baby face?
Apologize, like Survivor Series,
right? Yeah,
there needs to be a backstage thing where Seth Rollins has called Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose to a locker room, and they're both like, "What the hell do you want? Why are we talking?" And he's like, "Look, I had time to think about it, and even though I will not take back going out and grabbing my opportunity, I do take back the way I did it, and I didn't give you guys enough credit. And I'm sorry for betraying you. You don't have to make it a big old 60/year-old. They're best friends now. They don't even have to accept his apology. Just have him show remorse for what he did.
Which he has not done at all. Yeah.
Yes, and then stop acting like a whiny baby.
Well, that might just be his shoot character, though. So
it might. I don't know. We wanted to work on that, though.
Yeah.
Still being mad at Triple H and Stephanie is besides the point. You should be like, well, you know what? You gave me the opportunity. You don't want it anymore. But I didn't need you in the first place. I just wanted to take the easy way out. But now that I see the consequences to that, I don't need you. As a matter of fact, you two are the ones that needed me to keep you relevant. Yeah. Something. Who the fuck is writing this? Good gracious.
I mean, I think we know the answer to that question.
Yeah, but the jokes that they come up with sometimes, like they had Roman Reigns call Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho SpongeBob and Patrick.
What?
Who the fuck is writing this?
I did not. When did that happen? I missed that. That
was last week when they were deciding the teams, and he said it was on Halloween, and he said that Chris Jericho was SpongeBob and Kevin Owens was Patrick.
Was that the night? Was that the night after Hell in a Cell? I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. I don't remember. I can't remember. I don't remember what Raw I watched and what I didn't.
Okay, hold
on. I like your idea. Oh no, I'm gonna avoid that for as long as possible. I like your idea about Seth talking to Roman backstage. I don't think he should bring Dean in though, because Dean's on the SmackDown team, and I think that you could do something like that with that down the road, where like he apologized to Roman or whatever, but didn't to Ambrose.
The Royal Rumble will be January, so yeah, he can wait.
Fuck.
Royal Rumble.
God damn it.
It's only a month.
Jesus. I'm so not excited for the Royal Rumble. That's such a bummer.
Me either. They've ruined. I used to love it. The first 2 years they have ruined that match for me. Like my hope is that Roman's in the fucking title match, so he cannot be in the Rumble. Something. Good. Like, I did not need any more anxiety about Roman Reigns in the fucking Royal Rumble. Not 3 years in a row.
When Jericho helps to beat, helps Owens beat Reigns, whatever the fuck his name, I forgot his name. When he helps him beat Roman for the Universal Championship, then in like the, I don't know, opener of the show, then Roman will come out at number 30 and win the Rumble and go to main event. And
that will go over huge.
It'll go over huge. Where is it? In San Antonio? Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't matter. It could be in Pensacola,
yeah,
Florida.
It's the Royal Rumble.
He's going to get booed out of the
Right? Yeah. Oh, boy.
Okay, so let's go to the real main event, which was Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, we just read something that said that Vince McMahon thinks that the end of the match didn't go over well because the table didn't break. And he blames the table not breaking on Sasha Banks. I guess her genetics, because she's tiny. Because, like, exactly what was she supposed to do? She was not even in control of the situation. She was being tossed into the table. By the way, I've seen men get tossed into a table and it not break.
Yeah.
So it just seems to me like it was set up just so stupidly. Like, how do you expect this tiny woman to break that table in that manner?
On an indirect hit, you know, like, yeah, right. If it's a power bomb, sure, but it's like an indirect, like she's tossing her over it, like onto it, not like into it.
Yeah, so I didn't get that, but I'm gonna have to tell you, I was not shocked. I was a little shocked.
I wasn't shocked at all. I put money on Charlotte again.
Oh, you did? I was shocked because it was like, again, really? Come on now. I'm so over people from their hometown losing their home.
Right. It's the dumbest trope. It's so stupid.
Why would you do that to your paying customers like that? You can't give them that. That's bullshit, Vince. Like, he's taking shit out on the fans, and that shit is not fair. Those people paid their money. Like, they just wanted to. Everything about that show would have been fine if Sasha had won. And I'm not even complaining. Like, have a rematch later on, the next night. Give it back to Charlotte if that's what you want to do. But the thing about and Lloyd Band, shout out to him, brings up a very good point. The person who breaks the streak is hardly the one that's remembered is great. It's the person who had the streak in the first place.
Yep.
You're making Charlotte look, and by the way, Charlotte's the only, and I call this shit.
Oh yeah, I knew what you're about to say. Yep.
The only person that can hurt Nia Jax, and it actually means something. This was Monday.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, 2 days ago. It was Sasha, Bailey, and who else? Alicia Fox. All three of them did a drop kick on Nia Jax, and she just looked at him like, "Bitch, what the fuck?" And then at the end of the match, Charlotte gives her a big boot, and Nia is waylaid, rolls out the ring. She's done. Over. Didn't I say it? I said the way they're making Charlotte so dominant. The only one who can beat her is Nia Jax, and the reverse. They're making look like strong, big motherfuckers. And here we are. And you don't believe me, just pay attention to not who wins the matches all the time. Pay attention to what happens in the match, because the same show, Roman Reigns, him and Seth do the little shield thing, and everybody have to do the powerbomb through the table. Jericho breaks it up, beats the shit out of Roman. He's over there laying. They go to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins fights them both off by himself and he gets the powerbomb through the table by himself. These are things that you need to pay attention to because they're not arbitrarily putting these spots in matches for no damn reason. They're doing it for a reason. So when you get off on your theories or you read a rumor in the rumor roundup, don't lose your shit if it doesn't add up to the story that's being told. Like the myth that Raw doesn't tell stories, they do tell stories. They're just fucking awful stories. With the wrong people in the wrong spots to tell them. They tell stories all the time. It's just terrible stories nobody wants to watch. Hell in a Cell, like, it was all right. Because I don't get mad at Raw anymore because I take the show for what it is.
Yeah, that was my last night of being mad at Raw. Like, that was the night that killed my anger and turned it to complete apathy.
I also have to mention that my oldest daughter is a big Sasha Banks fan.
Yep.
She doesn't watch Raw anymore because she hates Charlotte.
Yep.
This happened at SummerSlam when Charlotte won again. She was like, "What's the point?" Because Charlotte's always going to win. So I told her about the Hell in a Cell match and explained how important it was. And she liked the match. But when Charlotte kept beating up Sasha, she looked at me. She was like, "How long is this match going to be?"
Jesus.
And another thing I like to point out, because I think they're a little bit right, is when she said, when they were doing the brouhaha with Sasha in the stretcher, and my youngest one was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "Sasha went through the table." My oldest was like, "If men can take going through the table, Sasha should be able to as well." And I was like, "Lord, I'm raising my daughter." Right?
Hell yeah.
That she thinks that. I am so glad, and I'm going to keep that up. But there are little things on Raw that I have enjoyed for the most part these past couple of weeks. I just think if you trimmed it down a little bit or told a better, if you're going long, tell it in a better way. Obviously, they don't either have people who can or Vince keeps getting in the way and it doesn't get told the way it's intended. I don't know. But I don't watch the whole show. I just watch bits and pieces. But overall, these past 2 weeks, I have enjoyed Raw more than SmackDown. And that's probably because I don't have nothing for James Ellsworth. I don't care. I want him off my screen. Seriously. This is our segue into SmackDown.
Here, the shooting starts now, folks. Boom.
It has become the James Ellsworth show. And I'm like, that he is not charismatic. He doesn't talk that well. They're like, "Oh, well, he plays his character well. He's a fucking loser. Who couldn't play? Tell me somebody that's told, oh, just be a lovable loser and act like you suck at everything. Oh, that's hard. I'm so awesome. I can't possibly pretend like I'm in over my head and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing." Like, seriously. Dude almost killed himself on a Styles clash. AJ Styles decked him and he just stood there and looked at him. Those are things like, you're a jobber, dude. He's over to the point of ridiculousness. When Dean Ambrose is in the match doing his babyface and peril stick and people are chanting, "We want Ellsworth," I am disgusted. How could you not get one of your regular time guys this over? Is it just, and I listened to Gino say wrestling fans don't actually like wrestling, and I was taking exception to that because I know I fucking love actual wrestling. But now I'm starting to think about it. Like, seriously, James Ellsworth sucks. We've all seen it. I don't care if he's the best in the fucking indies. What we seen in WWE is he fucking sucks. There's nothing good about him. But, oh, he's just like me. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't pay my money to see regular fucking people fumble and bumble around the ring. I'm paying to see some extraordinary shit. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see nobody that's average. And then I guarantee Vince McMahon likes him because he looks funny and they're making fucking fun of him. Guaranteed everything I know about Vince, he's getting pushed as a fucking joke. And the joke is at James Ellsworth's expense, and it's also at the expense of everybody else on the roster. And I do not want to hear Daniel Bryan talk shit about another Attitude Era guy from Raw ever again, period, point blank. Ever again. Because he's a company motherfucking shield. Because if you believe in that shit, why'd you come out there and put Shane McMahon on the goddamn team? Tell me that. He's not even a fucking wrestler from the Attitude Era. So people are like, oh, well, SmackDown gets leeway. It don't get leeway with me. Ever. If I'm not entertained by that shit, I don't like it. It just because it was good last week don't mean I'm going to forgive the stupid shit they do this week. That was fucking stupid. If Baron Corbin is shoot injured, there are other guys. The guy they made lose to Kirk Hawkins, Apollo Crews, he would have been a much better choice on that fucking team. Why not? Don't nobody know who he is. He ain't a big star. Put him in the match, give him a moment to shine. Then maybe he'll be a fucking big star. But no, Shane McMahon. Because he can keep the team together. That's such bullshit. It's such bullshit. There's nothing anyone can say to convince me that James Ellsworth still being on my screen after his angle is fucking over is a good idea. Because I was tolerating him till the angle was over. The angle's fucking done. Finished. It's over with. Finished last week. There's nothing people can say to say Shane. I've never liked Shane anyway. So the fact that he's on a spot on the team, taking a spot from a wrestler in a big pay-per-view match, suck a dick. What are your thoughts on it, Andrew?
Honestly, you know what's funny? Like I graded the show as C+, but honestly I wanted to give it an F just for Shane being on the roster. But I figured people would be able to tell that was because I was upset for other reasons last night too. But honestly, the Shane thing pissed me. When I saw it in the spoilers, I was just like, this shit. Like, can we just keep all the like authority figures like getting super involved like on Survivor Series teams over actual wrestlers? Can we just keep that on Monday? Like Brian interacting with The Miz or Ziggler or something backstage and like furthering an angle, like that's great. But I feel like this is just gonna like set up Shane to look strong so that eventually he can have a clash with Brock Lesnar that sets up a match at Mania where Brock Lesnar has to sell for Shane McMahon.
You know what really upsets me though? Mm-hmm. Like, and I'll be honest, I'm totally biased. Roman Reigns is on the other team, and if I have to see Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah, sell for yeah.
Those miserable ass punches from. I really want Roman to just look at him and be like, "What?" It close on the fuck out of him. Be like, "Get the fuck out of here with that."
Roman shoots on Shane.
You kidding me? Like seriously, like you fucking kidding me? No, and I'm saying Roman because you know he will fucking do it.
Yeah.
He's like the least selfless guy in the ring. Like sometimes I'll be like, fuck, be a little selfish. Like Jericho, he had a match with Jericho, and Jericho fucked up so bad that I wanted Roman to just hop up and just punch him in the face for real. Like, what the fuck is wrong? What's with you? Get with it. Shit, we're live.
We're live. Wait, what was it? When was that? Oh, when Jericho fucked up the Superman punch? When was that? That was a couple months ago.
I was talking about on Halloween when they face each other.
Oh.
You know how you do a guy for a roll-up. Jericho wasn't there to keep the roll-up and roll him over into a pin. He was too far back. He was like out of position. And then he just pushed Roman all the way over so that he came back up. Yes. And that's Roman, amazing. Ever the professional, was like, okay, we'll just go to the next spot.
Yeah.
He didn't hesitate whatsoever. He just got up, okay, next spot then. I was just like, no, maybe, I don't know. I do not fucking know. But just like the thought, I really don't care about anybody else on Raw team having to sell for Shane. I have to see Roman Reigns selling for Shane McMahon. I am going to fucking lose it. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Who's even on the Raw team? I don't even remember. Jericho, Owens. Oh, Braun.
Yeah.
I hope Braun sells for Shane. That's what I hope so bad. That would be incredible. I'd love that so much.
Because, like, I'm not even a fan of Braun myself because I think it's all booking.
Yeah.
All of it. I don't see what he does that's so extraordinary. Just like whining about Gallows and Anderson. I was like, well, shit, if they could fucking go in the ring like Revival or American Alpha or something, they're fucking average savages. I've said that from the beginning. Like, some guys just get hyped up a little too much. So I really don't care that they get geeked out. Like, they beat Enzo and Cass? I think Enzo and Cass should have won.
Yeah, who knows? So, like those teams have exchanged wins back and forth for what seems like months. Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Like they're not doing anything with it. They're just filling time, and like that's the most frustrating thing. Like you can have somebody lose, but when you just have them lose matches to fill time, it's infuriating. Going back to Ellsworth, it felt like the thing of having him be the mascot is just like you said, the angle was over. Like Dean got his extra match that he should not have gotten, like contractually, you know. But like Ellsworth, you know, fucked around and got him the win eventually after like 3 weeks of shenanigans or something. I don't even know what it was. It was a long time. And Ellsworth took like a beating, you know. So then it was like, okay, if he's going to be off and then for like 2 months and then make a surprise entrance at the Royal Rumble, that'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun, you know. But now he's like, what is a team mascot? Why do you need a mascot? I
have no idea.
Why? You have a mascot. Wait, they have a mascot. They have a jobber mascot, and they have a non-wrestler. Who's the captain? Is Styles officially the captain? They actually said that?
They called him the de facto captain.
De facto. Oh, God. So Shane's going to get named the captain next week.
So he's not even the captain of the team.
Oh, my. Now I'm going to start joining the complaints about stuff being booked for. You know, shit, things were going perfectly until all of a sudden we had to start putting the 40 figures over for no damn reason. I will say the one good thing about that segment at the end was when Brian was going down, he's like, my name is on the top right here. And then he looked directly into the hard cam and was like, well, we all know they won't let me compete. And I was like, God damn, Daniel Bryan. He does not give a fuck. He's just going to say whatever he wants. I love that. I popped for that big time. That was wonderful.
Yeah, well.
Good old D-Bryan.
I like to go on SmackDown since everybody can go. I mean, talking
smack.
I like to go on there and talk some smack to Daniel Bryan too.
They should
have his ass walk off. He's a hypocrite and a bully, and he's using his position of power because he don't like the Miz.
Ooh.
And AJ Styles was right.
AJ Styles is right, yeah.
You don't like Baron Corbin, so you give him the same opponents over and over. He beats them up. He made a point. What else you got for me? And what he had for him is to help him win. And I think Biden's pointed out because I wasn't paying attention. Corbin, the one person who's like, this is fucking stupid. What are we fucking fighting for? Then are you gonna give me more money, a championship, anything? Well, why should I help you win?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody on other is saying that. Kevin Owens is the perfect person to say, why the fuck should I help you win? Even though Stephanie
didn't she threaten their jobs?
Threaten their jobs at the end.
So at least that's something.
That's something, but she did that 2 years ago, and
everybody got fired and then rehired.
Right, or
no, they won the match, then still got fired after the Authority got brought back, and then got rehired like a month after that. Wow, that is dumb.
Convoluted out the ass.
That seems so unnecessary.
So I don't believe she's gonna do anything to anybody if Raw loses. I at this point, I don't want them to lose that match.
I don't care about the men's match. All I care, I don't care about the tag match either. I hope Alpha gets some shine. I hope Alpha are the sole survivors. That's what I hope.
I hope Breezango is
there. All right, okay. That would be dope. I hope they get some shine. Their gimmick with the police uniforms handing out tickets, I died. I absolutely died when I saw them come out.
It's gorgeous. It's great.
It's perfect. It's so perfect.
So perfect for them. And you know they came up with that themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You know they did. The match did. I love it. Let's talk about Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Because I did pay attention to that match.
Yeah.
And I was very proud of Alexa.
Yeah.
I thought the match was great. I did. Here's the thing. I'm old school. So you tell me the main event. I do expect it to go on last.
Yeah.
I think you can hype up a match and make it seem like a big deal without using the words main event. Like every other sporting event that's like a fight card, the main event is the last of the show. Everyone I've ever watched. And I'm wrestling exclusive now, but I used to watch boxing, a little bit of MMA. I never watched and turned on boxing in the preliminary match. The announcer was like, this is the main event of the... So it's just more like carny bullshit. Like, I want to be worked, but don't insult my intelligence. Between working me and just thinking I'm stupid. And to me, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned, like, boxing and MMA or whatever, because that for some reason that made me think about like house shows. They would never say a match in the middle of a house show is the main event.
No, I don't think so.
They would never do that. In fact, they are very deliberate. I went to an NXT house show like a month ago, and they were very deliberate. This is your main event of the evening before the final match. Like, they made a whole big to-do about it. And I know, and obviously, yes, those are the big stars, so, like, you could say that. But, I agree with you. And honestly, if the match would have, like, disappointed, I would have been a lot more upset. I just didn't have the rage in me. Like, I couldn't rage. I was raging about other things. I don't know. It was very depressing. I was upset. I was upset about Alexa. Usually in most of her big matches, she gets one good spot where she gets like a shoot punch or forearm in, and it always looks spectacular. Like, she always got it on Bayley, like in both the championship match back in November of 2015, and then the match they had earlier this summer in like June or something. She always gets like one good spot where there's like a separation, and then she comes back with a forearm, and it's like the sound and the way Bayley sold it every time was just spectacular. But she didn't get like a similar sort of strike like spot in this match, and that kind of bummed me out. But otherwise, I thought she was really good, like working the arm. It reminded me a little bit when she was working the arm and being a little vicious. It reminded me a little bit, and this is like just about the highest compliment I can give, of the TakeOver Unstoppable match with Sasha and Becky.
I knew you were going to say that.
You knew I was. You knew I was.
I was like, because that reminded me, that was my favorite match. That was last year, right? Favorite match last year.
Really?
It was.
Wow.
Yes. Out of all the matches, that was my favorite match. Because, like, I'm so heavy into psychology that, like, the stories going into matches, I can forgive if they get in there and they give me a whole hell of a lot of psychology, because the story going into the match with Sasha and Becky was kind of like, really don't. But once they started wrestling, I was like, holy fuck, I want Becky to win. I loved Sasha, but it was just like the story that was being told. It was just like, and then when Becky lost, but there was no shame in losing or in that tap out, you could understand there was no shame in that. It's like live to fight another day. And I was just like, that was the environment, everything about it. It felt like the actual main event of that show. Because I think KO and Sammy were dicking around.
It was a smoz. It was a smoz with Owens and Zayn where Samoa Joe came out and made the save with his god-awful first. Remember his god-awful first theme?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. I remember his god-awful first couple of months at NXT.
Oh, those were bad. Do you remember the Owens Joe match?
Oh, that was the worst Samoa Joe match I've ever seen in my life. And I watched TNA. That was one of the worst Samoa Joe matches. I was like, what the fuck happened to Samoa Joe? I did not think, okay, he's back until that Corbin match. I didn't think it. Yeah. But, yeah. I've really gotten into NXT. And I know you want to lecture me about your girl. So, NXT.
Sorry, I had to do that.
I just don't. I don't. She's pretty. That's all I see. She's a gorgeous girl.
You're all wrong. She's got the baby face fire. Okay. She's got it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure.
I don't see it. Like, if it with Asuka was laughable because like I just go ahead. Explain. Sell me on Liv Morgan.
The thing with Asuka was not even. It was not even like. It wasn't even really a match. Like it was, Liv Morgan being too big for her britches, but like trying to thinking she's all that a little bit, but like being a fighter and like having a good heart about it, like, but just overconfident and is not ready for it. So then she gets punked out, basically, right? The thing about that match, though, the angle they built was not the Asuka match itself. It was in the Fallout video with Liv backstage in the train, with hanging out with the trainer, getting her arm iced up, taped up, or whatever. When the icons show up, Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay, and they that's where their feud started because they just started. Oh, should we call her? I think what did Peyton say? She said, "Can we even call her Liv anymore? She barely survived." She did like a weird voice. I totally mangled it. She did some weird Aussie voice. So that started that, and honestly, that segment. So like I was already in on Liv. I was a fan of her. Like ever since she did the Brett promo before the Battle Royal or whatever, the #1 Contenders Battle Royal. That Carmella ended up winning, actually. I've been all in on that point. I was like, this girl's got some spark. She's got some character. She's different. She's got something that makes her stand out. And yes, it can rub people the wrong way. Definitely, I can totally understand that. And especially when you have somebody doing a worse fake version of it before you in Carmella.
I don't think that's it. I don't think, not for me.
No, I know. I was just shooting on Carmella a little bit. But I think two things about Liv Morgan. All right, so I'm going through this is a bit of a tangent. I'm going through season 3 of BoJack Horseman right now. And they just did here we go. And they just had the episode where Sabrina Aquafina had a fake abortion.
Yes.
And she put out that and she put out the song, the single with it's titled Brat Pew Pew. I literally that whole show I was dying. As soon as I saw the title, I was dying the entire show. First of all, tremendous episode of television. Like deeply funny and deeply serious at the same time.
People out there, if you have not watched BoJack Horseman and you have Netflix, why do you have Netflix? You need to get right after this show. Go watch some BoJack Horseman from the beginning. It's such a good fucking show.
Start BoJack Horseman. You got Will Arnett. You got Aaron Paul. You got Allison Brie, Paul F. Tompkins. Amy Sedaris, whole cast of crew, great folks, great show.
He plays the dog, Mr. What's his name?
Yeah, Paul F. Tompkins plays Mr. Peanut Butter.
Mr. Peanut Butter. That is my favorite character because sometimes. No, seriously, because sometimes in life, I know I come off like a mean bitch sometimes, but sometimes in life, I feel like I'm Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nice to a default sometimes, but no matter how shitty people are around me, I'm still going to be fucking Mr. Peanut Butter. Fuck you. I like being Mr. Peanut Butter. You're not going to make me.
Okay, so
make me vote.
So the second thing, back to Liv Morgan now. The second thing about Liv is that I noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, I noticed it like from the very first time, but there are 3 women in the NXT crawl. Asuka, Ember Moon, and Liv Morgan. And that tells me that they're setting up Liv for a long-term story, long-term babyface story. And the way they're doing it is with a heel mean girls duo, just like the BFFs. It is so reminiscent of Bayley against the BFFs. And the Liv Morgan's facial expressions, especially in that Fallout video, are so perfect because it's like you can see the hurt and like the false pride and like the disappointment in herself. And it's just, it's a real face. It's a real face that she captured in that scene. And I loved it. So, and also Sasha and Bayley keep putting her over. So, anyone that they put over, I'm gonna start popping out for,
What you're telling me is that I might start liking Liv eventually, just like I started liking Bayley.
Yep, there you go. A year, 18 months from now, when I put out 28,000 words on Liv Morgan's Liv Morgan's journey. Shit, by that time, that'll probably have interviews and shit in it too. Damn. About that. Yeah. But we'll keep that on the down low. We'll not talk about that. Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
But well, one thing I did want to speak about is the build-up for the Clash of the Titans, I guess. I don't know. Fantasy Warfare Comes Alive, or whatever the fuck they're calling it. Goldberg versus Lesnar.
Oh, Christ.
Okay, I'm off of Brock because Brock don't give a fuck anyway. So, he is who he is. If he comes to a match and he fucking delivers, I will say, God damn, Brock put in work. I will never disparage him of that. All the other extra shit, that's stuff that Vince allows. I can't be bothered to get mad about. Here's the thing, Billy Boy. If you gonna come back to when did you realize you wanted to wrestle again? Because the second you realized it, you should have been trying to get your ass in ring shape. I saw the botch with him and Rusev. It wasn't a small botch. It was very noticeable. Rusev, he toppled over. And Rusev, if you fighting somebody and they topple over, that's the moment you fuck them up. And Rusev said, no, I'm the dink in this situation. Yeah. I can't do anything.
I can't do shit.
No, and not even hit back because he might get yelled at. So I'm just going to topple over and let him recover. And then to say, oh, it's ring rust. It is what it is. Nobody can make me feel anywhere. Man, you don't fucking care. All you want is to see your son see you as a hero. People think, oh, that's so noble. He likes playing the hero. Well, that's great. He also didn't ever want to lose or put anybody fucking over either. Let's talk about the whole Goldberg story. Let's talk about he was so fucking popular and they were piping in Goldberg chants when he went during his run. Yeah, that's a thing WCW did. Vince didn't come up with the crowd manipulation. That's been done before. Goldberg is like a facade. And Brock Lesnar is a tough motherfucker, but the image that WWE puts out is a total facade. I didn't care about the match, but now that I know Goldberg hasn't been training and he's probably going to get blown up coming to the ring, I need to see this in my life to laugh at it. I have to. Because, like, it's gonna make money. And as long as it makes money in wrestling, it works. So they're going to do that. And then they're trying not to give away the finish because they're saying it has WrestleMania implications. Which means fucking Undertaker's coming back next week. There could be another WWE versus WCW match. Like, Lord, the Undertaker should not have to try to. Undertaker is at a point in his career, like, if he want to come back, I'll tell him to go home, but I still love him and I'll still support him. If you're going to have him an opponent at WrestleMania, you really need some younger guys in there with him. You know what I'm saying? To, like, make the match move and to sell, like, I don't know. I just feel like everybody's waiting. John Cena's actually is going to get AJ Styles, but it's going to be, like, in the middle of the card.
Which is so stupid.
Right? And the Undertaker's going to be facing, like, Goldberg. And I don't know what they're going to do with Brock. Probably Shane. Probably definitely Shane. So you can look forward to 2 years in a row, the women's match. Probably both women's matches from Raw and SmackDown stealing the show.
Yeah.
That's the good thing.
Yeah.
The women are going to get...
Well, no, there's going to be 3. Remember? There's going to be 3. There's going to be Charlotte tapping Ronda Rousey out. Or that's the speculation.
I don't even care if she does.
Here's the thing. I don't care about that result. The thing that's going to annoy me is that's going to get all the attention over the Bayley-Sasha match for the title. And I'm going to lose my fucking shit. I'm telling you all right now, you're going to hear me bitching about it nonstop starting in January, I bet. So get excited. Yeah. Woo.
Right. Okay. The thing about this is the one thing we did not touch on, which I know we should have.
I tried to avoid it.
The reception that I had forgot about it for a minute. The reception that Bayley got this Monday, like, I just don't understand why people are mad. Okay, think about what the crowd was interrupting. A stupid-ass segment for a stupid-ass match of Survivor Series. It wasn't nothing important that they were chanting all over. It was not. And I'm just going to call a spade a spade. A lot of people were upset because Charlotte did not look the absolute best. Like, when Charlotte does not come out looking the absolute best, you have to fucking blame somebody other than Charlotte. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm not putting it on Charlotte. Like, people like, well, the heel is supposed to. There's nobody that could have came out short of, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin that would have got that crowd back on subject. And they probably still wouldn't have got back on subject. They would have just started saying what? At a certain point, when a crowd wants to be the crowd, they're going to do what they want to do. Charlotte handled it. She was upset invisibly. And this is the only knock I'm going to have on her. She had to get a little bit of thicker skin.
She broke character.
She did. When she said she'll never forget this,
that was terrible.
Not her. That was Ashley Flair saying that.
Yep.
She was so upset that they did not shut the fuck up and let them have that segment. And we've seen that when they were in Brooklyn last year. They showed a shot of Charlotte by the ring steps after the crowd had totally hijacked their segment. She was near tears.
Yep.
The night after WrestleMania, she couldn't handle the crowd then. If they're going to, and I don't really put it on her, but if they're going to have her in those spots, they need to coach her better on what to do or how to react. I probably could have said something to the crowd, me personally, to get them to stop, but they wouldn't have been able to air it on live TV. I got a foul mouth. And I think short of doing that, you couldn't have. Sasha did it a little bit, but then after that segment, they didn't like hijack the match. They paid attention to the match.
Yeah.
It wasn't, so I don't get the point of, the crowd just wanted to hijack the match. Like, if you are the type of person, and every time Roman Reigns comes out, it is definitely because they have a right to boo him, then that goes for every crowd. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. They don't want to go with the show. If you are on the crowd side one time, you're going to have to be on the crowd side every time. But they're not always right. And sometimes they can make it assholes for other people that are there, like the you suck, whoever, and you suck. That wasn't the whole crowd. Yeah. But they got booed down. It was disappointing that a large section of assholes decided to do that. But that wasn't the whole. The entire fucking arena went apeshit for Bayley. That was not going into business for themselves. They were actually going into business for Bayley. Mm-hmm. That's what they were doing. That is a good thing. And if it gets ignored by the powers to be, that's on them. That's not on the crowd. That's not on Bayley. They did not do this to any. Like during the Golden Truth, they were kind of quiet. If they really wanted to hijack the show and that's why they came, why didn't we hear a massive array of all different types of chants during that match?
JBL.
Yes, that is a prime, like American audiences that are rowdy like that. That is the prime segment to where you will hear like every wrestler. Soon they're going to start chanting like Bruno Sammartino because they've run out of wrestlers to chant for. And I'm talking about in Brooklyn, in Miami, in America. They go overseas. They know it's a different crowd. The one thing that got me into really loving Bayley was that London match she had against Nia Jax last year. And a big part of that was the crowd and the way they reacted towards her. So I just don't get the argument that was bad. It wasn't an important segment. The thing that was important there was Bayley. And by the way, the other faces, the people that are supposed to be getting cheers, Alicia Fox seemed like she was having the fucking time of her life. Like this was the best thing she'd ever witnessed. Yeah. And Sasha Banks, we already know how she feels about it. So if both of the heels, which Nia Jax handled it way better than Charlotte, she was just like, I'm fucking over this. I'm ready to squash somebody. Fuck this shit.
No, she was rolling her eyes not because of the crowd, because she knew she had to bump for Charlotte's big boot later in the match.
Yeah, but she. That's perfect. That is perfect. She's like, what is this fucking bullshit? She ain't even a fake. She on my team.
Oh shit.
You're right. Right.
Tonya, you know why people shit on the crowd and shit on that segment? I'm gonna tell you why. Because Charlotte looked bad and Sasha looked good. Yeah. There's your reason. There's your reason right there. End of story. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't commenting in the threads, but I saw Biden saying saying something that like he enjoyed it when Sasha was the one to get him to shut up, like give a smirk on his face. I was like, yeah, I did too. I was like, yeah, for sure. How about that? You lean into the crowd, you acknowledge them, they cheer, and then they shut up. Like the face can do that. The heel has to do like heel shit, and saying please stop talking or I'm never going to forget this is not good. Like somebody said something, like somebody wrote something in the thread that's like Charlotte just said something like, well, she has a boyfriend, so none of you dumb idiots are like good, or I don't know, something like that. Just anything.
That's what Charlotte should have said.
Yeah, that's what Charlotte should have said. That's what I'm saying. Anything, but she had nothing.
Like, you guys are so pathetic, begging for Bayley. She doesn't want to be with you.
Right? Fuck no.
Shut up. Nobody cares. And if they keep going, you know what you do. You just plow through the horrible script they gave you so you can move on to the next.
Go through it. Yeah, just go through it. You know what? if you can't hear each other in the ring, you still should know your lines because they're so scripted. So say your lines, and then the crowd will be edited, and we'll be able to hear it on TV at least.
Yep.
Like, that's what they should be telling people. And I appreciated a little bit, initially at least, when Bayley stopped and was like taken aback, because that's totally character. It's her shoot reaction, but it's also completely in character.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with
So I thought that was totally fine.
I like the whole segment. It's the best part.
I love this segment. I thought it was great. I thought it was the best women's segment that's the best women's segment on Raw in like a non-match segment since the Divas Revolution started.
Yeah, well, I know people didn't like Stephanie announcing them, but that was like right before my birthday, and they all got called up, and they all put the old girls. They had them all in
submissions. Yeah,
I was hyped.
Yeah, I was hyped too. They could have like had that and then done good stuff with it, and people would not complain about the introduction. But the fact that they ruined everything after it is why people remember the introduction and give it shit.
Yeah, and the team things actually played out into a pretty nice story between Becky and Charlotte. So I'm not even mad at the team thing. It's like it wasn't done well enough to my liking, but I ain't that mad at it. What else do we have to talk about? Flow Slam, do you I know you watch indie wrestling.
Yeah. I haven't subscribed yet, but I am
Here's my
going to.
Thing about indie wrestling. I was going to start getting into it. Last year I got a subscription to
New Japan
this thing, and I fell in love with Nakamura. And then like a month later they were like, Nakamura signs with WWE. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me everybody I start liking is going to go to the WWE? I think somebody made a joke. I can't remember who it was. They were like, can you start liking Matt Riddle? I was like, I don't even know who he is. So, like, I gave up because every time I like somebody that's not with WWE, next thing you know, they're with the company. And I'm like, well, what's the fucking point? They're just going to go to
They're going to the Fed.
Hunter's buying everybody that's not in TNA right
Sign
now.
them up, baby. Sign them up. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Matt Riddle because I'm going to New York this weekend, and Evolve 72 is in Queens. And I've been talking to my friend who I'm staying with, who is not a wrestling fan, but is like, he watched the Iron Man match. Like, he went to like a person's house to watch the Iron Man match, and like I showed him one time when he was staying with me in DC. When we were drunk, I made him watch the Brooklyn match. Like, I fucking sat him down, and I was like, "All right, we're getting drunk. And we are fucking watching this." I think we watched like the promos too beforehand and stuff. Like, so yeah. But Evolve 72. So I've been talking to him. I've been like, man, if I can get this cat to go to Evolve 72, because Matt Riddle's on the card, I'd be like, fuck, that'd be lit. Tangent. This is what you get on Wednesday night shooting, folks, when I'm not like rushing that to write a review like immediately after this. There's no time limit, baby. We can shoot for as long as we want. We're not going to.
Yeah, we got about maybe like 20 more minutes. We're going to be with you guys.
What else is going on in wrestling?
We missed like some weeks and weeks because you were messing around with that.
Baseball. Man, that shit was heartbreaking.
Legitimate sports, and I'm putting quotations around legitimate sports because I'm a conspiracy theorist. You know, I think a lot of those sports set up, rigged, bought off, paid off. There's no way in the world some of this shit happens, and I was convinced of that when I watched the Super Bowl between San Francisco and the Baltimore Ravens, and after that run back after halftime, the lights just shut off. I was like, oh. This is bought. They thought that San Francisco was going to win, and they trying to get him another timeout. And they almost came back and won. Ain't that a bitch? Sometimes I be thinking like, who got money on this game? Who invested in this? Who are the owners of this? And you know,
well, I'll tell you, basketball and soccer for sure. For sure. Those are works. Those are straight up works. They're not
It's much
shoots.
easier in basketball to like manipulate the scores and shit than in football. Because like in basketball, you only need like 1 or 2 people on the team. In football, you kind of need like everybody.
You need everybody to
Like
compete.
the Saints, when the Saints were just taking people out for no fucking reason. We're just injuring people, and we're gonna pay you to do it.
Fuck it, this is our gimmick.
But yeah, people are under the impression. That's another reason why I totally off of NFL. It's a whole list of reasons why. Roger Goodell being one of them, the main one. Fuck Roger Goodell. Yeah, we're gonna totally hide this domestic violence
abuse,
thing.
Yeah.
We got video. We don't even want to see it. We're just going to give him a slap on the wrist. Oh, but when it comes to like, oh, this is the worst guy. Ban him for life. Kick him out. He's a skirt. Yeah. Like, fuck you, dude. You do not give a fuck.
Yeah. Didn't some punter just admit that he, like, abused his wife and got suspended for, like, 1 game or something?
Yeah, I don't
follow football at all, so.
The only thing I follow, because I still love the Patriots, is how they... Yeah, I know people are...
You still love Bill Belichick, huh?
Yes. Because, and my mother gets on me for it, but I am under the impression that everybody cheats. They just haven't gotten caught.
I'm talking about the letter he wrote to Donald Trump. I just said that name.
Oh, yeah, why?
Ooh,
everything was going
so well.
You just said president-elect.
I'm sorry,
listen,
everybody.
I didn't pay no attention to that, and there are a lot of wrestlers that I like who lean a way that I don't. So I just tend, like, if I like you professionally, I'm a fan of your work. I try to keep it out of politics because even if you're a Democrat, I'm probably going to think your political views are
dumb, stupid.
Yes, because I am not a Democrat either. I tend to vote Democrat more. Just because, like, they haven't, like, completely thrown my people away. But that's neither here nor there.
You know, the only thing about the entire election night that, like, even brought, like, a half smile to my face was it was, like, 2:30 in the morning. I was still awake. 2:30 in the morning, I was just looking through Twitter, and all of a sudden I see a tweet from some Sasha Banks, and it's got a couple of emojis, like frowny face, crying face, and I was just like, oh man, I was like, I feel good. I don't feel good about like that I'm hurting, that she's hurting, you know, any of that what happened, but I made me feel good that I was like, okay, yeah, I like somebody who's cool. Yeah. I was happy. It made me a little bit happy. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Corey Graves is on my shit.
Oh, fuck. I don't care. Fucking Corey. That pissed me off so much. Yeah. That pissed me off so much.
What I'm talking about, look up his tweets. He was on welfare. He can do it. You can do it too. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I am actually excited about certain possibilities coming out of Survivor Series.
Okay.
I do that the Cruiserweight Championship needs to be on SmackDown.
For sure.
I do agree with that, especially if all the cruiserweights are going as well, because even though it's a 2-hour show, I feel like the cruiserweights that are featured will get highlighted in a better way,
in a much better way.
Better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to lose the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
But I think it's going over there, and not for. This is the reason why.
Oh, simply that's right. When you said this earlier, I died. Yeah.
Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins cannot be like Grand Slam champions if they've never held the Intercontinental title. They're not even like legit Triple Crown champions. So in order for that to happen, and we all know like God, aka Vince, smiles upon both of them. and he wants everybody he likes. He wants them to make all the history all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for that to happen, I don't think he's going to trade either one of them to SmackDown ever. So in order for that to happen, the Intercontinental title has to come to Raw. Now, if it doesn't go to Raw, then one or both of them will be on SmackDown to win that title. Guaranteed. Probably Seth, because Seth, like, what's he gonna, if he's not in the main event, and please tell me he's not in the main, motherfucker has 16 consecutive title matches. And that's stretching through his injury. Enough is enough. God damn it. If you ain't won it in this amount of time, take a break. So I can see them sending the title over to Raw with Sami Zayn. And then Braun killing Sami Zayn for the title. And then since Seth Rollins all of a sudden is a fucking world beater and can beat up KO and Chris Jericho. Like, yeah, like everybody's like Roman and Braun. Yeah, Roman is the one who's going to actually be the legitimate person that beats Braun. I mean, that loses to Braun.
Yeah.
Because Braun has only beat up like jobbers and Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn is not legitimate on that show. So have him beat up Roman, and then Seth comes on his white horse. I could definitely see that being like the Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania. Or even if the title doesn't go, I could still see Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman like being the big David versus Goliath thing. And it kind of does make sense because Seth Rollins the flippy stuff, and he never sells any damage anyway in his matches. So
can't sell.
You know, I don't know if it's can't or he won't, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
I know that. Yeah. Like in Hell in the Cell, because he supposedly had this back injury a few days before, and KO rips the tape off. He's targeting the back. Later on, he's fucking power bombing KO's big ass through a table with no trouble. But Sasha's selling her back all through the match, and she can't power bomb Charlotte through a table. I was like, well, that's the type of stuff I pay attention to.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins just does not sell injuries during the match. So that's perfect. So Braun's going to beat him up. Then he's going to pop back up and do his flippy shit. And yay, hooray. The face that we can all believe in.
Fuck.
Seth Rollins.
That is so depressing.
Well, who would you rather? Because Braun's being built up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I absolutely, like, everything you said made perfect sense, like, in raw sense, you know? But, like, when you were saying that, I started thinking about the Miz-Ziggler feud, and I was like, man, it's funny because, like, everyone before the brand split was like, oh, you know, well, the assumption was that SmackDown was going to be the better show. It turned out to be the better show. But they were like, oh, Raw's just going to take all the, you know, the over things from SmackDown, you know, because it's like, oh, it's a hot act. We want it on the main show now. So they're not taking an act, but they're taking the championship that SmackDown totally rehabilitated.
Yeah.
Like the Intercontinental Championship meant nothing until like that Miz-Ziggler feud. It was totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. And then it was like this hot shit. And actually, now that I think about it, the Miz-Ziggler feud, I was like, man, it would have been awesome if Sammy was in the Ziggler role. And then I was like, wait a minute. The Miz-Ziggler feud was pretty similar. I mean, obviously the character's a little bit different, but it was pretty similar to Sammy's journey to the title in NXT against Neville. Like Neville was obviously not nearly as much of a heel. And you know, Sammy didn't have the whole like I've been failing or whatever, but he did have the whole I can't win the big one thing, and he did put his career on the line, and he had that big victory.
And Neville was being dickish towards his
and he was being dickish, yeah.
Telling him, yeah, I'm sorry, you just can't win the big.
You just can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah. So he was, yeah. So that was totally like a modified version of that story, which is funny. That they took, it's like you think of that as like, okay, so that's the R Evolution story. The Becky Alexa story is totally the Bayley Alexa story. And I'm like, I I'm seeing some similarities here. Gee, I wonder why that is.
Same writer.
I wonder why, huh?
Well, any good writer knows.
But hey, apparently Vince does everything on SmackDown too, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Anyway, every good writer knows that there are only a certain set amount of stories you can tell. You can have a whole different set of characters and settings, but in just basic storytelling, not even in wrestling, there's only so many stories you can tell. And then once you get into wrestling, that gets a little more narrow. So you have to be able to tell the same stories with different characters and not make it seem like, oh, it's just an instant replay or the recycle. Like, you know, the NWO story, like people are like, well, this is kayfabe. It worked because people thought that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were from WWF. Yeah, for the first couple of months. And then, like, actually, when it kind of settled in, like, you know, these guys were actually with WCW. It still worked for, like, damn near a year or so after people realized, oh, it's just an angle. The thing about it is that it has to make some semblance of sense. They can still run like we're taking over type of story, but you can't have it like the WWE does it, where you throw a McMahon in the side of dissension. And I'm sorry, Triple H married into the family. He's a fucking McMahon. But if you had an executive that works there, that wasn't a McMahon, that was trying to take over the company using wrestlers, that could potentially work. But Vince is so fucked up, they would still, at the end, somehow be in the pocket of Vince. And he'll pull the roll back and be like, oh, by the way, I didn't like Austin versus McMahon, but it was certain things I enjoyed about it. And then the higher power angle came, and I was hype as fuck for that angle. And then, like, this is kind of like when I realized that Vince isn't a good storyteller.
No.
When he revealed himself to be the higher power, and I kind of like figured it out like the week leading up to the reveal, I was like, watch it be Vince fucking with me. And it was, and I was like, man, fuck. I won't be getting in deep into any more stories that they tell. It's like, that was so fucking stupid. To me, it was just like, really? You went through all that for what? And nobody really even knows. Now you can't even remember. All you remember is the dumb shit at the end. It was a damn good angle, though. Undertaker was building him a fucking army, and he was going to, like, that was kind of like an invasion angle. But they ruined it. And I just feel like that would be, like, the biggest thing they could do. Especially if they have enough talent that's still out there on the independent scene, and they just signed them all together and build them up and have, like, one dude is like the figurehead. Like, they could do that, but the story would get so NWO so fast. that would be having people like Baron Corbin in the motherfucker. Like, dude, you are straight from Performance Center. Shut up. You know what I mean? It's it's like sometimes they're right there. Like the KO Jericho story could be so much better. I'm not even like begrudging the fact that they're teamed up together. It's the fact that the person who's supposed to be driving the narrative title, it's not about him. And honestly, the way it's being played on TV, it seems like he's all good with it. So if he turns on Jericho, it doesn't make no sense to me, because like you've had so many opportunities to like put this dude in his place, and he's outshining you at every step. That doesn't irritate you. You're the fucking champ.
Right. You retained your title at Hell in the Cell, and the segment ends with Jericho's music playing.
Yes, and a character like Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens should fucking go nuts for that.
Yes.
Wasn't there a segment where Ambrose had his music play after Owens like retained the title or something, or won the title and against somebody else, and Ambrose like came out and his music played, and Owens like ran to the like timekeeper or whatever and was like, "Why isn't my music? Play my music," you know, something like that.
Yeah. They neutered him. It seems like, God. And like, okay, I understand getting to doing big moment wrestling, but like, it seems like the big moments aren't even that big anymore.
They're not. They're not big moments. But what? Okay. Like, you know what's a big moment? The babyface winning the first women's main event in a pay-per-view in her hometown in Hell in a Cell. That's a big fucking moment.
It is. You're absolutely correct.
How is that not a huge moment? And nope. Like, they can't even get the moments right. Like, seriously. It's just, it's frustrating. I don't know. This is why I don't watch Raw anymore. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Only bits and pieces. But I just like, I hopefully after Survivor Series, like, SmackDown can tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, it can go back to being straight SmackDown.
Yeah, because I don't like this shit. It still don't make any sense. No incentive to win.
Yeah, they really don't. Like, why? Like AJ just said, I want to beat up Raw. Why? Why do you care? You're the face that runs the place. You got nothing to prove.
Right. Except I liked it when he was on commentary there. He was like, don't think I forgot about Roman Reigns. Now, see, that makes sense. Like, even if it's just, I want to be on the team because I couldn't beat this son bitch and I want to beat him.
Yeah.
Hey, motivation, but just like, oh, we're the better brand. Who gives a fuck? Did you get an extra check for being the better brand? Like, I don't know. It's Survivor Series. The only thing I'm looking for to see if the title switch hands. Because if they do it, and this is perfect Vince McMahon to tease all that, and the Intercontinental Championship stays where it is, and the Cruiserweight Championship stays where it is. I'm gonna be like, really, such a little fucking tease,
right?
But you know, you can only be teased so much.
Yeah, like, you're only teased so much until you like give up and then get back on Tinder. You know, like
I know, right? Because, like, this Flow Slam thing, that's why I asked about it. I need to find out more about it. All I've heard so far is that they've had, like, Evolve shows on there.
Yeah, they got Evolve shows. They have Shine, which is the women's fed. It's not Shimmer, which doesn't exist.
Shimmer doesn't
exist, remember. But Shine, the one show, the one Shine show I saw a couple of months back was pretty good, but apparently they have a reputation for kind of like wacky booking. So, but that's still interesting to see. That's still interesting to see, like, young, like, independent. Like, that was the Shine show I saw was there was a match between Rachel Ellering and Tessa Blanchard, which was a really good match. It was the first I'd seen either of them. And so now every time Rachel Ellering, who literally has a new last name every time she's on NXT, and I'm saying this in the daily, I literally hope that's her. I hope that's part of her gimmick after she's like signed full time. She just keeps having different last names every week. Just why not? And like have commentary be confused about it. Like, what? This is clearly the same person. Why does she keep changing her name? I don't know. That's dumb. It's dumb, but like it was funny.
Because you can build on that. You can find out like she's on the run or something.
Right?
I don't know
there we go.
Here we go. On TV,
Boom.
but she's on the run.
Yeah, she's on TV. She's doing TV shows, but she figures that as long as she changes her name, nobody will ever find out.
Oh yeah, she's being stalked or followed or something. She's running from somebody.
Yeah. I think
but yeah, I might want to get that.
Because, I think it's great to go back and watch stuff like old Riddle or old Johnny Gargano stuff. back when he was like a heel, apparently, which is interesting because now he's like super babyface. But yeah, it's interesting to see like, you know, people's development stories. It's just like an added layer to NXT, kind of like Evolve for a lot of people now, because a lot of people are going from Evolve to NXT to, you know, the main roster.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Before we go, I just want to say that my new favorite thing in wrestling is Sanity.
Oh yes,
And Nikki Cross,
Nikki
especially.
Cross, baby, for sure.
Oh my God, I love her so much. Like, she just as like being outside the ring and things like that. Like, I like the way they take their time getting to the ring. It seems like Eric Young, like, he's clearly being positioned as a leader because he comes out and he stands and they all stand behind him.
Yeah.
And then they kind of walk to the music. And like, I don't totally know the gimmick, but like what I see, I'm really digging. So
yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you. Did you see when I predicted, like, this is probably like 2 weeks back ago, I predicted that they would come up at Smart Mania.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I was like hot-shotting them. I was like, fuck it. I think I said like Nikki Cross is going to be a main roster women's champ by the end of next year.
Well,
which was a bold statement because Charlotte will clearly be champion. So she'd have to be on SmackDown. Or, I don't know, maybe Charlotte. No, they'll never put Charlotte on SmackDown. I take that.
Eric Young, to me, because I've always been a big Eric Young fan, I think he's as ready for the main roster as AJ Styles is. And since he's the leader of that group, I wouldn't have any problem. The other two in the tag team, they can learn. And like Nikki Cross, from what I see for her, she's absolutely main roster ready. So
oh yeah, for sure.
I'm all like, that's my new thing: the music, the image, the way they carry themselves. Like, yes. Now, see, that would be a good group to come in and just like wreck shit and just turn everything awry. I would love that. I love like invading stories. Like,
especially because I think they're adding more people to that stable. I think they're gonna add like Tommy End or something to it, maybe. I don't know. Somebody in the thread could do that. But like, if they added, wow, thanks. If they added like another guy, I don't know if you want to put like Tommy End. I don't know. From what I know, everyone bigs him up. I don't really know anything about him at all. I think he's a Progress guy out of the UK. But like, he could be like a main event, like a world champion talent. I don't know if Eric Young is quite that level, but you could put like
to be the voice of the group.
Yeah, the voice. You could put the women's title on Nikki, you put the tag titles on the big boys, and then, you know, the world title on somebody else, and just have them wreck shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Eric Young be like the manager / kind of like what Xavier Woods does for the New Day.
Yeah.
He would thrive in that role. I'm really big on Eric Young. He should have been in this company years ago. TNA always treated him like a bastard stepchild. Whatever they needed him to do, he was there and he fucking delivered. So big on them, big on Sanity. I'm big on this new format. We don't have to rush, but
this is great. Yeah, we're just talking about anything.
Yeah,
we're making off tangent. We're taking tangential references and shit. Great. This is the best.
Don't forget to watch BoJack Horseman. It's a good fucking show.
Oh, Fizzy, by the way, Fizzy in the thread said, what did he say? He said that something about BoJack Horseman. I don't know. He said like, I don't like it. And I was like, oh, classic Fizzy. I just quote, I just don't care for the BoJack Horseman show, end quote. I was like,
you know what?
That's beautiful.
Steven Universe is also a good show for different reasons. So I'll give him that because I know he loves Steven Universe. You want to say anything before we wrap this up?
I think next week we should remember, before we sign off next week, to do our sole survivors at Survivor Series. Because I wanted to talk about the women's match at Survivor Series, but we can do that next week. Yeah, because that's like the go-home show anyway. Yeah. I will have a better format. I didn't write anything down today because I was in my feelings. Yeah.
But I had fun, so.
Yeah, this is good. Good show.
Next week, we'll be back with the first episode of Wednesday Night Shooting. So please tune in. And we always really appreciate you guys watching. And to steal a line from my fake BFF, always and forever, keep it tight.